probably the least amount.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the House of Sin podcast. I am your host, Nuke. With me, as always, is Ven, Punk, and Itty Bitty. How is everybody doing tonight on this 60th episode of the House of Sin podcast?
Woohoo!
Awesome.
Doing good.
Cool. 60 episodes. Who knew we could talk so much?
60.
Our podcast is almost at retirement age. What is that? 65?
Oh. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked, so it
Or
didn't pay.
7?
It didn't pay anything into its 401k, so it has no retirement funds.
Oh, okay. It's just gonna have to work till it dies.
Yes, like the rest of us.
More life planning.
Excellent.
So it has been quite a while since we had a podcast. I said that last time we had a podcast too, but so I think everybody's
Becoming a
been
regular thing.
everything. Hopefully, everybody's gotten to play a bit of stuff. We've had some disappointments in releases, or maybe a release that rubbed me the wrong way. We could talk about, but anybody want to go over what they've been playing recently?
Sure. I'll go first.
You sound very
Let's
sure of that.
see. I was just trying to think about what it is I've been playing. Well, we've had some building competitions in Minecraft, so I've ended up spending a little more time in Minecraft than I probably otherwise would have. I'm a little crafted out right now. Besides the fact that I get to hear my son talk constantly about it, so yeah. Then the other day I actually not picked up, but I went back and played some Lego Marvel's Avenger. And I had started playing that and then got away from it, and I played a level last night, and I was like, eh. And I don't know, that game hasn't pulled me into it. It just has not been as fun as some of the other Lego games that I've played. Let's see, we played some Mortal Kombat recently. That was kind of fun to go back to that and beat it up a little bit with everybody.
I'm excited for that patch to come for that one.
Yeah.
See how what it does to it.
Yeah. And then, let's see, I guess a new game that I played was The Witness, puzzle game, really fun. I haven't gotten real far into it, so the puzzles have been pretty manageable. But I know later on they get a lot more difficult, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Played a little bit of Battlefront, a little bit of Rocket League. I think that about sums it all up. I should kind of a little bit of Grand Theft Auto here and there too. Always fun to jump on that and just mess around. That's kind of what I've been up to. Ta-da!
All right. Jay, you want to go over what you've been playing?
Yeah, I don't have that big a list. Let's see. I went back and been still trying to get our drive club up to level 50 so we can get the wolf symbol. Did some of that. Also picked up WRC5 for real cheap, so a little rally car thing. It's not very good. It's not terrible, but it's not great. So, but I like car games. Played some more Project Cars, and I too fell victim of The Witness and also Firewatch. And since I like Gravity Rush so much on my Vita, I bought the physical copy from Amazon. But those games, my wife was playing with me, and those three, and my father-in-law's been in town for this week, so we haven't been able to continue on any of the Witness or Firewatch anymore. So it's been kind of a drag. So I've just been playing a lot of my racing games and Goofing around, pretty much. That's about the extent of what I've been doing. Of course, a few interests here and there. So
All right.
interested to hear what everybody else has to say about the witness.
All right, Punk. What you been playing?
Well, besides like the usual things that everybody else has said, I got just about three kind of new ones that I've been playing. Um, I started playing Persona 4 Golden on the Vita,
Mm.
and that I didn't know what to expect from that game going into it. I just knew it was like a Japanese anime, like a game just Japanese anime style. And I went into it, and you're high school walking in like probably about the first hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. It's like just talking and kind of walking back and forth. You don't really get into the actual like combat kind of style, like into the game till much later. Um, which that's taken me a while to, I'll play a little bit and then I'd put it down and then I'd go back to it a couple of days later and kind of go through it a little bit more and then put it down. But finally, this weekend, like I said, I got into some of the heavier combat parts, and it's a lot of leveling up the character now and doing all kind of interesting things in that game. Like it's it's pretty much like any kind of anime. It kind of starts out slow, but then once the crazy part hits, things just get you know cr- crazy. And I've been enjoying that game though. I don't know if have you all played Persona 4 Golden
I have not.
or any of the Persona games?
No.
I think it's on sale now for like $8 or something on the
I have
Vita
it,
on
but
the PlayStation
I kept
Store.
kept getting stuck, like you said. Like it would be so much walking back and forth in story at the beginning. It's like, man, I really don't know what everybody keeps saying about this.
Hmm
I just
I think
never
once
could
you get, like I
fight
said,
through
once you
that.
get into it, then yeah, it really amps up, and I'm interested to see where it goes. And it's just easy to watch something on TV and just have the Vita just sitting right there, and then as I'm watching TV, I can just sit there and walk through a fight or whatever. But other than that, I've been playing Darkest Dungeon. They had their full release on PC last month, I think is when it was. Maybe at the beginning of February, I'm not sure. But they've been in like early access for a while, and I bought it pretty early. And it's been a fun game though, even in early access. Like they changed a little bit of things and tweaked it, but the art style is it's very colorful, but it's like it's kind of like dark colorful. Like it's not bright colors. It's just kind of darker shades of everything. But it's hard to describe on a podcast, audio form. But if
Mhm.
you ever, just look up pictures of the game, it's got a really unique art style. And the premise is you've inherited this mansion on top of this mountain, and you have to go into these different caves and dungeons to either some of the missions are you're scouting a certain percentage of the rooms, or you have to defeat all the bosses in or all room bosses kind of thing, or all room enemies. But then as you complete those quests, then it unlocks the bosses for the for the for that area, and you're trying to level up your team. It's kind of a roguelike thing, so like you'll build up this team of characters, and there's kind of permadeath, so a character will die, and then they go to the graveyard, and you just have to recruit new characters and level them up. And you're trying to work your way up to the darkest dungeon, and get the final boss in there and kind of like reclaim your mansion. You before you go into the dungeons, you you have to spend some of your gold for provisions like food and torches, and that kind of thing. And then it's like kind of like a side scroller almost when you go through the dungeons, going from room to room. And then the combat is turn based, so you'll have your party of 4, and then either 1 to 4 enemies will pop up every once in a while to fight. It's a really fun game. It's an early contender for my game of the year for 2016. So it shouldn't take that strong of a PC to run it. But I think there's a PS4 and Vita version coming out soon. Don't quote me on soon, but I think I've read somewhere that they're working on the PS4 and Vita version, so it should be out.
Too late. I just
at some
quoted you.
point. Yeah,
Yeah.
but keep an eye out for
Hashtag
that
quote.
game. If you don't get it on PC, I'm sure it'll transfer pretty well over to consoles. Like it's pretty. It's one of those like simple to play but difficult to kind of master the systems, and and there's like a heavy RNG element to a lot of the attacks and that kind of thing too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a cool game.
It kind of reminds me of Dragon's Crown, but darker.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever played Dragon. I think I've seen screenshots and such. So I can see where you're coming from with that. But I guess the final game I played really that I've just recently gotten into was Dark Souls, the first one. The Prepare to Die edition I got pretty cheap, about $8. We all know, I think it's in my worst gaming experience on the SYN website that I bought Demon Souls and probably played about a couple minutes or about an hour or so, and then went and returned it back to GameStop. And so Dark Souls 3 is coming out through. So a lot of the streamers I watch on Twitch have started their Dark Souls runs, before the new one comes out. They're going through like 1, 2, and then they're gonna play 3. And just watching it, I was like, I kind of want to give this series a try again, but Demon Souls is only PS3, and I said I'm not going back to my PS3 anymore. That's I've already decided that. Like I might as well just find it on the PC. And there's an awesome mod I found for PC that you can bump the frame rate up to 60 frames instead of 30, and it retextures a lot of the graphics and textures and everything in it to make everything look so much better. So that's what I've been playing on the PC. Even playing some Dark Souls. I've beat a couple of bosses now, and I'm kind of enjoying it. I don't know what's different now. I'm thinking it's, I don't know, just a mindset of having to get into one of those kind of games where it's that risk reward. Like today I was playing, I beat one of the bosses, and I ended up unlocking a new area, and I was like, okay, there's got to be a bonfire here like somewhere soon that I can cash in. Like I was getting probably about 20,000 souls on me, and I was like, I need to like cash these in like real soon so I don't lose all this. And I'm getting past all these difficult enemies and still couldn't find this bonfire. And I fell down I'm in the sewers, and I fell down a waterfall down like 2 or 3 levels down and further into the sewer. And like I'm like just stressing out right now just because I'm like trying to figure out where I need to go. And I finally managed to luck my way up some stairs and found the door that I had a key for, and that opened it up right to the bonfire in that area. Oh, thank goodness! Like, there's a giant rat staring me down, and I was like, I don't want to have to go all the way back to where I was just to, cash in these souls and then have to possibly fight all those enemies again on the way back down.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. Like I said, it's something different that's kind of clicked in my brain. Just like I want to give it a try. Go take a slower paced kind of sword and shield game.
Cool.
So that's it for me.
All right. Okay, well, I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about what I've been playing by first starting to toot my own horn. I have 3 new platinums to talk about.
Uh-oh.
I know it's less impressive when I actually
Wow.
say which ones they are, but I'm just going to let that sink in for a second. Okay, so I bought the Lego Hobbit game for $6 because I had nothing to play, and I'm like, well, I had stuff to play, but I didn't want to play any of that. So I'll play something else. So for $6, I gave it a shot. Now, keep in mind, I had not seen any of the Hobbit movies. So I play the Hobbit game, I kind of sit down, and I just play it, and I get my platinum. It's a Lego game, so you have to be thorough, but if you persevere, it's not difficult to get the platinum. It's just time consuming. So it inspires us to watch the movies, and it turns out the Lego game is far better than the movies were. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. That the Lego game and the way they presented it made the movies feel like they were a lot more epic. And when I watched the movies, I was like, huh.
I liked the movies, but yeah, I agree. They're slow
Long.
and
Yeah.
long. Yeah. And
Yeah.
like, I mean, there's some good action sequences in those movies, but they're just so spaced out with a whole bunch of other not interesting stuff that
Yeah.
Mhm.
it just drags on.
So that leads into my second platinum, which was Lego Marvel Avengers. So that came out. I paid full price for it. I was excited about it because Lego Marvel Superheroes was the best Lego game I've ever played. Lego Marvel Avengers is not the best Lego game I've ever played. It basically takes the core movies. You got Age of Ultron and the original Avengers, and they have some offshoots from some levels from other movies like Thor in the Dark World or whatever. It's one where he's against the elves, and they have some stuff from Winter Soldier and everything. But it is the exact formulaic way Lego used to do movie tie-in, where they take clips from the movie, the characters say them, that kind of stuff. It was not inspired. The level design is not great. They have 5 or 6 hub worlds, and one of them is Manhattan. And if anyone played Lego Marvel Lego Marvel Superheroes, Manhattan was a massive area with just tons of stuff to do in it. This one is still that same size, but the stuff's pared down. It's simpler to do. There's almost no challenge to it, and everything. So I would recommend playing it when it gets really cheap if you're into Lego. Otherwise, it is one you could actually pass up and not miss anything. Well, I'm sorry to say.
I have high hopes for the Force Awakens
I don't,
Lego game.
and I'm going to tell you why. Because they had a article in Game Informer, and everything I was reading about that game was the same trappings they just did in Marvel Avengers, where it's like they don't have a ton of stuff to fill this. So think about Marvel Avengers had a bunch of movies they used to fill this game, and so The Force Awakens is going to basically be one movie and some scenes from classic stuff. And I'm very concerned because they actually say that it's a cover-based shooter is what they've got because there's very little uh, characters with force powers in the movie. So there's a lot of cover-based shooting. So they've introduced this cover-based shooting mechanic to Lego, um,
Yeah.
which worries me because that's not what the game's really kind of. I mean, you die and you respawn right away, so why get into cover? Kind of thing. We'll see. Maybe they'll do some good stuff, but I would still highly recommend possibly waiting for any Lego game to go cheaper because they are starting to do more and more movie tie-ins. They had the Lego Jurassic World stuff and everything. And Lego's best when it's doing unique storylines. So Lego Marvel Superheroes, the Lego Batman series, they have not actually done. None of those Lego Batman games were a movie tie-in. They were all unique stories, and that it got interesting. So just putting that out there for anybody that might be interested in that stuff. Third platinum was Minecraft. I figured I spent enough time playing Minecraft, I should get the platinum for it. So I went ahead and worked at finishing off a platinum for Minecraft.
Cool.
All right, so that gets done with that was good. It's done with patting myself on the back. So what I'd like to say is I'd like to talk about the Witness a little bit. I have beaten the Witness. I have not done the challenge room, which is the last trophy to get the platinum for the Witness. But the Witness, like Punk said for his game, the Witness is already vying for my game of the year. And the reason for that is the innovation and ingenuity of taking line puzzles and making a whole bunch of concepts and filling a game with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these puzzles, making the world interesting to traverse, trying to figure out what's going on, making it an experience that is fun to play. And it's the first game that I've played that when I played for an hour the first time, or an hour and a half, I had to stop playing because my brain was tired. And I'm not exaggerating. I was really like, I'm tired. This was a lot of work. And the puzzles that come later are insane. But what's beautiful about it is most puzzle games, like I feel like puzzle games I played in the past, most of them were like things that some of the puzzles you couldn't even solve, or you had to have outside knowledge, or it was just obtuse and made no sense. There are no puzzles in here that are like that. If the puzzle is more difficult for you, it's because you're not looking at it properly. You didn't maybe fully understand what's going on, or I don't think this is a spoiler, but hopefully it's not a spoiler. There's a series of puzzles that are sound based, and the first time I got to them, I didn't have my headset on because I was just playing the game, and there's no music or anything, so it doesn't matter that you. So I got to him. I'm looking at him. I couldn't figure him out. And the great thing is you can walk away and go to whole different areas of the island and just do other stuff. But when I came back and the second time I had my headset in and I hear these noises, I'm like, holy shit, that's what the I never would have gotten this puzzle if I hadn't had my headset on. So it's a game that if you are interested in challenging yourself in a thinking game, one that you're actually going to have to pay attention to do work through things, and you really feel a sense of accomplishment, I would highly recommend it. If you don't like those games, don't play it, because it's not hiding what it is. It is absolutely a challenge. It's a mental challenge game, but they do it in a way that's so clever and so fresh constantly throughout that game that it doesn't get old.
And it's very rewarding when you work through a puzzle and you get it and you're like, yes, I got, it's just, you get a sense of accomplishment from it.
Yeah, and also, I can't believe we didn't see that earlier.
Well, they do this devious thing too, where they'll give you a puzzle with a layout, and you solve it, okay, and then you slide to the next puzzle, and it's the same exact puzzle, except one of the areas you can move the line to is broken, so you can't move it there, and it changes fundamentally this massive way you have to look at the puzzle, and you're like, I can see why it took them so long to do this, but there's some perspective puzzles that are insane. There's tons of puzzles that you don't need to solve to finish the game, and there's just things you can keep doing. And I don't know if anyone wants me to. It could be a little bit of a spoiler. I want to explain the challenge area at the end. If anyone's willing to listen, you want me to spoil anything?
That's fine with me.
I already know what it is, and it's,
okay. Well, it does. So when you get to the end, you can do the end of the game, right? You get to the end of the game, which I have, but there is, if you solve all the areas of the island, it gives you the opportunity to do an extra puzzle in the final area that opens a secret door. You go in that secret door, and basically you go through this area, and everything's off. You get to the end in this closed room, whatever, and there's a record player. You turn on the record player, and it starts playing classical music. And then puzzles turn on. You have to go through these puzzles, and it's a sequence of crazier and crazier challenges and things while the music's going on. And there's two classical music soundtracks that play, and it's about 7 minutes long. And once the music ends, if you haven't solved all the puzzles, the power goes off, and you have to restart the whole thing. It's the only area that's timed in the entire game. And they pick classical music that gets faster and faster and more frantic at the end, so it gets you all agitated. And the puzzles in this area are crazy. They basically, there's one section where you have 3 screens, and only one of the 3 screens is solvable, and you have to figure out which one it is and solve it. But I mean, they have so many puzzles that you have to go through that go through all the different concepts in this short period of time. So it's the one last trophy I have, and apparently I think if you finish that area, you get a little more of an explanation of an ending or something on it. But it really is a clever game, and I could just see people that were working on this and designing these puzzles laughing maniacally at how evil they were being in certain areas. But yeah, I mean, I just, it's an amazing game. It took forever to come out. It was kind of, I thought, supposed to be like a launch title for PS4, and I had really lost interest in it. And then when it came out, I started watching it. I'm like, you know what? I got nothing else to do, and I kind of like puzzle games. I had no idea I was gonna like it so much. Really a well done game. So that's what I'd say there.
Yep. Missy and I really enjoyed playing it together.
Yeah.
That's why I can't play it right now.
Let's see. I played a little bit of the Killstrain beta, and I didn't like it very much. I just don't like MOBAs, I guess, because it was a very standard MOBA feel to a game. And so I tried it for a round or two, and I mean, I did okay. It just didn't grab me. I played the Division beta, and I'm very torn about that because it was okay. It wasn't bad looking. It didn't look nearly as good as I've been watching people play on PC and other stuff, kind of streaming when the closed beta went. And when I got in it, it didn't look anywhere near as good as that. The sky looked very bland, and buildings looked kind of flat. And so, I don't know. I guess I was unimpressed with how things looked. If anyone doesn't know, the Division is basically a looter shooter, for lack of a better term, I guess, where the whole goal is to keep shooting stuff and grinding and getting slightly better gear and grinding, getting slightly better gear and just leveling up, just kind of doing that. It's kind of Borderlands without the personality, and it's Destiny without the over-the-top aliens and cool weapons. It's I know that there's a number of clan mates that seem to like it. I was one that was I wasn't turned off by it. I was very numb to it. It's like
the streams look pretty boring.
So that's a perfect comment, Punk, because so that's what I thought when I was watching it, and when I got into the game, it was more boring than that. You really felt how empty the world was. Because I didn't watch too many streams. I was watching like highlights of some of the YouTubers I watch, and they had cut out all the running. You have to run to different places forever, and it's like it's trying to immerse you in the world, and it's supposed to be like this disease that broke out or whatever, and then you're coming back in pretty soon after this happened, I guess, and all these gangs and all these bad people have taken over. Well, so you have all these random people wandering the streets that just want like a bottle of water or a can of food. And if you had armed thugs all around, nobody would be wandering the streets like that. There's way too many cars and things. And then the military's in there, but the military has brought in no vehicles. So I don't know if there's a story that explains why you're not properly equipped in any way, and the city's a complete disaster in every way, but there's hardly anybody around. I'm not gonna harp too much on the fact that all the enemies are bullet sponges. It is an RPG, so you're shooting guys and lots of numbers coming up over their heads, and the more powerful guns you have, the bigger the numbers there are, and the faster the people die. But it is a little weird that you're shooting AI, they're running at you with bats. You're shooting at them with an AK-47 or an M4 or whatever. Like, no one would keep running at you, right? They'd give up.
I would if somebody's shooting at me with a gun. I'm gonna run straight towards them with a bat. That's exactly what I would do.
Yeah, so there was a lot of bad AI to me. The other thing
I
was
just say, hey, stop that.
yeah, you're walking around in the city, and there's people, and you kind of have to. At least I felt like I had to aim my gun at them to tell if they were friend or foe. And these are all NPCs or whatever. They're AI, and then if you see enemies, let's just say enemies, they're just two guys standing over something or whatever. They're not doing anything, but they have red bars. You come up to them, and they suddenly start attacking you. It's like for no reason. Like, this is not how the world would be. It's like you should be able to walk by, and you can't. You basically shoot anything with a red bar over your head, you know, which it felt lazy, I guess, is the way the game felt to me. That here they'll drop loot on you, but the two missions I played felt lazy. The side missions felt very cookie cutter, and like I would say, it is very much the possibility that when I played the Destiny beta, I thought the Destiny beta was like a snapshot of a much bigger game, and it turned out to essentially be the game. And that's where I was really disappointed in it. And the things I'm hearing from the division is there were two main story modes that were in the beta, and there may only be 10 to 12 story modes in the entire game. So we may have seen 20% of the story modes, the missions, in just the beta, which is very much like you know, a lot of the game. And then the PvP aspect. Now, I did ask Rambo what he thought of the game today, and he kind of gave me feedback, and he liked it. And I know that I saw Cant playing it a ton. A lot of people were playing it a ton this weekend. But Rambo relayed something that makes me worry a little bit, because a third of the map is a PvP map. You go in there, and that's where you find the better loot, but people can shoot you too. And there's a lot of balance issues and things like that. But it made a comment that Cant and I think Joker was playing with them, and they had leveled up or found all the weapons that were some of the best weapons out there, and they were able to shoot Rambo and Woopack and a number of other guys a ton. And the weapons that Rambo and Woopack and everybody had weren't high enough level to do really much damage to Joker or Cant. Now, I didn't experience any of this myself, but it does make me worry that it's that arms race scenario that you never feel like you can win unless you can play the game all the time nonstop.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting on the fence on Division in terms of I will wait and see, and I will wait till that price drops, and maybe I'd buy it if people are really excited. Maybe it's $30 or less. I don't know. But it doesn't feel like a game. It doesn't feel like it has longevity to me. I was very bored playing the beta. I did not. There was nothing that made me go, "Ooh, let me play more." That's me. I may not be right for looter shooters. Like, Destiny never grabbed me like it grabbed a lot of people either. I'm not big into just grinding for slightly better gear all the time. It doesn't do anything for me. I need more hooks. So, but I didn't feel like the world felt very interesting either. But maybe it's more fleshed out later. It is just a beta. So anyway, that was my feelings on the beta for Division that I played. I thought there was one more thing.
It's too big for me. I just didn't want to spend all that time downloading.
Yeah, it was like 26 gig. Like that.
Yeah, 26.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'll get it and I'll check it out. And then I was at work on my phone. I was like, I'll just wake up the PS4 and let it do it during the day while I'm at work. And then I'm like, 26? Never mind.
Oh man. So I was trying to
Careful,
think.
stop
I
filling
tried
mine up.
World of Tanks a little bit. I hadn't actually done anything with that, and that was kind of
Oh
interesting.
yeah. I need to try World of Warships on the computer. They have that one.
Ah,
It's the same. It's the same company. They have World of Tanks, World of Warplanes, and now World of Warships is their new one.
it
I played World of Tanks before.
was
It's
okay,
pretty
but I
cool.
was in a really weak tank that couldn't do much, and everyone else kept shooting me, so I
Yeah,
wasn't
it's
getting a
one of
chance to
those
learn.
where you say you gotta kind of play for a little bit and just kind of grind and
Yeah.
get a better tank.
Mhm.
My tank looked like it was smoking and damaged from the start, but I think that was just the exhaust. But that was the impression I got. I'm like, oh boy.
You start out in like a real tiny tank, and then you see everybody else, and it's like they could just run over you.
Yeah.
It's like okay.
Like some guy pedaling a bike inside his tank while somebody else is like, "Vroom."
They got like the Flintstones tank.
Oh, you're like running along with
You're
your
trying to
feet.
run with it.
Oh.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I think that was basically it. Besides the normal clan um, stuff. I do the clan events. I do want to make a special mention of a game I thought I'd be playing right now, but I am not, and that is Street Fighter V.
Mm.
And so I'm very disappointed, and this seems to be a trend in so many games lately, and it's getting really old. I feel like I'm missing the boat on why we should be buying these games, or why it's okay to release a game with so little content. Because maybe I'll take a step back. I still like Battlefront a lot, but I am frustrated that more free content or even the first DLC hasn't come out to at least do something with the game, right? And you release a multiplayer only game and you kind of hope that you're going to see more and you're going to see it faster. Especially when they said, "Hey, it met our goals and it sold 13 million copies and all this other stuff." So here comes Street Fighter V, and there's no story mode. There's only two-person lobbies, and the networks aren't working real well right off launch. And essentially, here's a $60 game that's missing most of what even Street Fighter 4 had. And I'm very frustrated because to me, Street Fighter is one of the most premier fighting games you can really find. And to not be able to even party up with a few people and
Mhm.
fight, right? Or have a proper story mode that you can enjoy and maybe learn how to fight in better. And you get this from what I can tell, they released early to make sure that their prime competitive fighters could get the game, train on it before the matches in March, I believe.
Yep, that's
But,
correct.
but to me, it's at the cost of a quality game of any kind. And to me, you only get
Mhm.
one chance to make a first impression. So it's like if it was a good game that came out, I would think we would have been able to get a number of people in the clan to get the game. We could all have a new fighting game, play it a lot, have a lot of fun. Now, I sit there and go, even if they drop extra stuff in March and then they drop the story mode in June, like, what's the incentive to buy this game at anything but like $40 or $30 way down the road when you decide
Yep.
it's good enough? And even if you decide to
Mhm.
get it then, will enough people even care at that point, right? Because this is their launch window. Later on in the year, there's going to be a bunch of other games. May not even be interested in it anymore. And we may have the announcement of the next, like, Injustice or whatever, and everyone goes, well, maybe we'll just wait for that. I mean, to me, they just lost, that chance.
Another
Mhm.
point is you can look at it as like it could have been greater, but it could have spent 50, $60 on a Street Fighter, and and then we would have been playing that new. Or I guess now everybody was like, oh, that's a bummer. I guess I'll just get that add-on pack for Mortal Kombat for $19,
Yeah,
and we can just make that game new again. So plus
that's a
it's
good
supposed to
point. I
have
hadn't
some
even
add,
thought about that, Jay. That's right. I mean, you can
yeah,
just go forget the Street Fighter, and I'll wait. You wait till they come out with their Game of the Year edition or whatever.
hmm
Mhm.
how the characters are unlocked, because they're going to do DLC for at least a year.
No, they already got, that's already announced. That's the
Yeah.
XL edition.
No,
So,
I meant Street Fighter. I meant Street
oh,
Fighter when
yeah.
you go revisit that way down the line when they've sorted out all their problems, and like you said, stick with Mortal Kombat for now.
I mean, I was, you know, yeah, I am an Amazon Prime member, so sometimes, it's better for me to get a game as soon as it's released, and get a discount on it now, and save a few bucks, and then
Yeah.
it's
At
kind of
least here,
amazing
though, I think
nobody
I
was
heard
getting it.
today, or I thought I read today, that Street Fighter V had a worse opening week than Street Fighter 4. And I really think it's because they didn't launch a properly finished game. And I'm really tired of seeing games launched this way.
Yeah.
And you got the word of mouth now, like with Twitter and Twitch streams and all this. You'll see people like just everybody on my feed when it came out, like all the popular, gaming journalists, whatever. It's just like, yeah, this game is like incomplete. Like you might as well just wait till May or whenever all that other stuff is gonna come out. Like just don't get it now. Like, and then, that influences people when
Oh yeah.
they see those opinions. And they're
Well,
like,
I was done even before it launched. When I found out there was no eight player lobbies at launch, I'm like, forget it. You're not even supporting parties and stuff at that point.
Yeah.
This focus is not the. I don't want a competitively focused game. I'm sorry. That's.
Well, Nuke, I think you were listening to a YouTube person talk about it, and basically he was saying it's a slap in the face of casual gamers. The people who, set the stage, when Street Fighter was first coming out and the money that was everybody spent on it, that really made it such a popular series. And just, I think he was talking about how it just seems like all they care about are all the professional players, and
Yeah, Maximilian.
everybody else be damned.
Maximilian's a guy I watch when it comes to fighting games because he does a really good job breaking down stuff. So if I want to talk about more combat, Street Fighter, anything like that, and just his opinions on things. But in this one, it was really what his feedback. It was just like yesterday or the day before when he posted the video, but he put into context the fact that, again, if you lose the casual, which we are, right?
Mhm.
Right, then you're not
Yeah.
selling your game. You don't get the funding, and so you don't get a next game. Right? It's
Yeah.
not the competitive players that keep your game alive because there's only a few of those players. It is the
they're
casual.
gonna buy them every new game that comes out, anyways.
Yeah, but those competitive players, there's not many of them. I mean, let's be honest. There's not, there's not like a ton of competitive
Yeah.
fighting game players. Most of them you would rank as casual, and if you're gonna take away 3/4 of the game, if anything, what Capcom needed to do was say, okay, we're gonna break this in installments, and you only have to pay for the installments. Like if you want the competitive one right now, here's $15.
If they did like the Killer Instinct model, just have it whatever that was. You get the 2 characters or whatever, and then you buy the packs or whatever for different
Or something.
things.
I don't
Yeah.
know. They needed to do something different than what they did because you cannot, in my opinion, where else anywhere can you pay full price for something and be okay with getting half or a third even of what you purchased? You buy a meal and they only give you half of your meal. Are you going to stand for that?
Give you this shirt, but the sleeves won't be ready till spring.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
you're not ready,
If you
you
come
don't.
back in spring, we'll give you the sleeves.
Yeah. If you're not
I
ready,
don't know, some
don't
places
launch.
mess up and they
or-
will only give you half of your meal.
Yeah.
Check
I
out
don't
this
know.
pair of shoes. You can have the left foot right now, but next week we'll have the right foot.
I mean, seriously, what other industry does this happen in? And what other industry what other consumer in any other industry accepts that kind of practice? I don't think it
Another
exists.
thing, The other thing I wanted to say is just like, what other game can you have a few friends over and go, hey man, I've got Street Fighter, and they all go, okay, it's been around long enough, that pretty much seems like, it's kind of like the Pac-Man of video games too.
Yeah.
It's one of those video games that everybody knows, Street Fighter. So,
Yeah, and to
so it
see
is
it,
kind of sad to
yeah,
see it come out like that.
absolutely.
To,
Especially when, to me, the competition is Mortal Kombat, and Mortal Kombat has raised the bar quite high. With
Mhm.
its extended story mode and all the multiplayer options and everything. I mean, it's not perfect by any means, but from a fighting game standpoint, it is really packed full of content,
Mhm.
which
That's
is
solid.
really really good. And so yeah, so that was my rant on Street Fighter.
yeah, I'm kind of sad too about that whole.
Because I really wanted to play it. I was really looking forward to it. I mean, you don't get that many fighting games anymore. They're not the super popular genre. So it's like you got Mortal Kombat, and you got Street Fighter, and Injustice had one decent game. We'll see what the sequel will be like someday, and everything. But there's not too many more around, and it's just not the way you want a flagship game to be launched like that, and especially something as important to PlayStation 4 as that game should have been.
Yeah, that seems kind of a little weird too.
Yeah, well, I don't think
Like,
Sony really had
think.
any say in it. It's just yeah. Oh, so I didn't know if
There's
anybody else
some.
had anything they wanted to talk about. I did want to just give one little comment to say I have been very interested now that I'm seeing a lot of games that I thought I was going to get not showing up or not coming out in the way that I want. I am looking forward and keeping my eye on the game called Overwatch. The more I watch it,
Mhm.
I'm getting far more interested in it. It looks like a very good 6-on-6 team-based first-person shooter, I guess you could say. But not all the characters shoot. Some of them have hammers, eagle, fly, rocket, whatever. It's a very eclectic mix of characters. All the characters are supposed to be available and open from the start. Any DLC characters will all be free. The maps are all free, and anything you pay for is probably just cosmetic down the road and what have you. I mean, it's not a free to play game, so you just pay the price of the game. But um, if you
It looks
haven't,
like one of those where it would definitely be more fun with friends and
yes,
probably not as fun with like
Yeah.
queuing up solo with randoms.
yeah, probably
Just
not.
because of the team, like it's only 6 versus 6, so there's a lot of strike. With Battlefield, you can kind of just jump in and you're part of a 64 person team, whatever. So it's not that big of a deal to really talk.
Mhm.
But with the 6 versus 6, you really need that communication. So
Yeah,
Yeah. Definitely.
yeah. So that's what I'm looking forward to because if we do have a few people, because even you don't necessarily need all six, to be. But
mhm.
if you have a series of 4 people or even 5 people that want to play regularly, that could be a really fun game because it looks like again, like Punk said, if you're gonna play as a group and you're gonna coordinate a bit, it looks like a wonderful game to coordinate with, switch characters as you're playing, just do all that kind of stuff.
That's one of the big things about it is like the switching. Usually those type of games you can only really switch characters between rounds.
hmm
I think they
Mhm.
have it to where you can switch like whenever you want pretty much. So it's like a chess match almost where somebody from the other team will
Right.
switch to a character and then like, oh, well, now I can switch to a character that counters that guy and
Mhm.
Yeah.
just kind of
I think
do
most
that back
people
and forth.
switch in between deaths, but if you backtrack to wherever the spawn area is, that's where you're allowed to switch. So you spawn in that area and switch. So yeah, it is, and it's a lot of rock paper scissors, which I like about like Battlefield has the same thing. A lot of the different you got your classes and your vehicles and everything has a rock paper scissors mentality where certain things are better than against other things, and these characters have the same thing where there are counters to each character, or even multiple counters to each
Mhm.
character, but if you have a team or a person willing to change and adapt.
It reminds me of Team Fortress 2,
Mm,
if you've ever heard or played that on the PC.
yeah.
It's a similar thing, like that class-based common, but in that Blizzard kind of style.
Yep. Oh, oh,
They make good games, so it
yeah, that's
looks
what
like
I'm looking for. I mean, to be honest, so it's been in, I guess I'll call it restricted beta. I've only been watching it in streams and YouTube videos and everything, but it plays amazingly well for the early betas. This is supposed to come out probably sometime in June. I think it's no later than June 21st. It's somewhere in May and June timeframe. So there's plenty.
that Roadhog guy was my favorite.
Yeah.
He's a real big dude, and he's got like these hooks, but he's also has this chain that you can like. It's like the scorpion. You throw it over and like get over here, and like pull him back, and then you just like. And I think he has like a shotgun too, so you can just like, get him back and just like blast him with a shotgun. That guy looked like a real fun character.
Well, yeah. Not only that, but he also has a special ability to like he has a gas mask he puts on, and it gives him health.
Oh, cool.
So you can actually get a boost of health too. There's just all these characters are very unique and different. They all have
There's
different
another one that
playstats.
was like had like a jetpack. It was like floating in the air, and they were shooting rockets and stuff on the ground. And
yeah, and then they have like they have a couple different kinds of healers. One guy reminds me of like a Jet Set Radio kind of character, roller skating around, and there's another one that's like she kind of flies and has a health beam that sticks to the person they're trying to heal and stuff. Yeah, just all kinds of
there's
things.
the Wild West gunslinger.
Yeah,
He had like the trench coat and the hat, and then,
John
like, I think
Marston.
his ultimate, he just like spins around, shoots all of his pistol, and just goes. Just
No,
spins around and takes out
that's not
everybody.
his ultimate. No, his ultimate is like it's high noon and everything goes into slow motion for him, and it locks in.
Oh,
The
that's
guy who spins is the Reaper guy with the dual shotgun. He goes into like a tornado thing, and he starts spinning.
Yeah, I
around
was
in
getting
circles.
those two confused.
It's just cool. There's a lot of personality and a lot of characters. Yeah, it's basically the way I looked at it. Punk was it's kind of like got a roster big enough to be a fighting game. I'm like this, when I thought about it that way, I'm like that is a lot of characters, and to balance that many characters, that's a tall order. So then they seem to have done a pretty decent job of because you can see just about anybody play any of those characters and do well and help the team in a good way. They know what they're doing. So hopefully,
That's
that
like a
and a number of
that's a game it kind of plays like a free to play, but it's $59.99 game.
Well, I don't know if it plays like I don't know what playing like a free to play game goes because they're very tight controls, and it looks very good. I think to me it looks very good. I like the aesthetic. It's colorful. It's a bit cartoony or Team Fortress, 2E. I guess you'd say like I was saying it's got a look to it, but it doesn't. I mean, when I think of free to play games, I really think of it doesn't feel like a free to play game to me, but it feels like a very multiplayer centric game. So whether you question if it's worth
Team Fortress
$60
free
or
to
not,
play.
yeah, Team Fortress.
But I get what you're saying. Yeah. No, I mean it's got that it's got that Blizzard kind of art, like maybe not World of Warcraft, but like that Hearthstone kind of where they take the World of Warcraft kind of art and they've kind of really colored like just super intensified, I guess, the colors. I don't know really what I'm trying to just make them brighter and is.
Well, what I
stand out
liked
more
most
and
about
it's-
it is to me compared to like say a Call of Duty, where even if they make it bright, I still have trouble seeing the enemies because they're all kind of generic characters.
Mhm.
This one, every time I'm watching, it's like the good guys and enemies all pop out, and so it's again not about trying to see if you can see people. It's more just about playing and out thinking and out strategizing, which I guess for my old better. I don't like
Yeah,
squinting
and-
down a hallway and getting headshotted by something I couldn't see because I didn't see the pixel moving on the left side.
There's like a satisfying cash register noise too whenever you kill somebody, so it's like.
Well, that was the
the
other
reward
thing.
is like,
So the way they do the killing and everything, if even if you don't get the kill, you kind of get the kill. Because it's like if you've done damage to that person, you get points and contribute to that kill as much as you put, right, the amount of damage on that person. And like say you're a healer. If you're healing a person that's doing a ton of killing, you're getting credits for his kills too. Because you're helping keep them alive. So it seems like again they're trying to do a bunch of different things to really help any play style. And you get points for blocking damage for the tanks and the guys with the shields and all that stuff. So what I really like is they're trying to really I think incentivize any kind of good gameplay. Whether you decide to kill a lot or you support a lot or you're kind of in the middle. It just seems to be a game where it's like, you don't have to always put the top kill in the center of the attention. It's just people who are making good plays and good decisions.
Yeah, and that's something I find really exciting about it because that really goes towards my style of play. Because I mean, definitely like the Battlefield games and stuff, I, had many a game where I had no kills or just kills, but because of all the support work that I did and whatnot, I was at the top of the leaderboard in points. And so I really appreciate games that do that, that recognize that, hey, there's different players that have different styles and enjoy doing different types of things, and it's not all about just shooting and getting the most kills.
So hopefully we'll hear more about that game and we'll see how it goes. And I was talking back and forth with Lord a little bit the other night because we're both a little concerned because there's not a whole lot of shining beacons of multiplayer for the clan coming up. I mean, I think he's not even interested in, Overwatch or anything. It's something that doesn't look interesting to him. So we were both just saying we were hoping as we get closer to E3 or we get into E3 that there's games we don't know about that are coming that may hopefully, give us some hope for the rest of the year.
Overwatch almost reminds me of what the first Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare was. Like just how it was just kind of that crazy kind of cartoon. I mean, obviously more, intense and all over the place.
Right.
Just as far as what I've seen on the streams, but it's just kind of that same. It's not a serious like real. Realistic looking shooter or anything. It's just kind of a fun, just a fun shooter.
Yeah, that's an interesting
like
take. If it had a more serious look, maybe it wouldn't be as fun because of how the characters are and how the world looks. It seems more cheery. It doesn't seem like people get as mad when they die.
I'm saying, if it looked more like Mortal Kombat wise or something that like all the characters look, then would it? I don't know if that might be pretty cool too. But
then you get the real get over here.
I'm talking myself into it. But no, yeah. From when I was looking, like just every time all the streamers I watch die, they're all like, oh, haha, go, good job, man. Like,
yeah.
So you're just watching this little cartoon guy just die.
Oh man,
really.
there was one YouTube video that we were watching. The guy was playing the ice character, and like he kept just making the worst puns ever. It was like have an ice day and whatever.
He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger
and
the Batman.
Yes. Yes.
Oh
you guys
man.
should just chill.
Oh man. So I mean I just keep looking for something that everybody can hopefully get behind, and maybe that's just never going to happen again. I would just like to see something that kind of brings the clan together. We got a little bit of that in Rocket League, but then a lot of people moved away from it, and now we always have this just a smaller group that will play Rocket League when it comes up now. And everything, and it just, I would like to see something that everyone can congregate around and get behind. I don't know that Overwatch would be. Certainly, the Division seems to be a middling entry where it's some people will love it, other people will not. So I
Is
don't
there any
know.
word on how much progression there? Maybe that was the issue with Rocket League, was that everybody just kind of unlocked everything and then it's kind of like, all right, there's not. I mean, I know everybody that loves it now, it's not really the progression issue with them because everybody still plays it. But
Mhm.
like Overwatch, I don't know how many characters. If you unlock characters, or I mean, you can unlock skins and stuff for them and
Yeah, I think it's
everything.
just skins and other stuff. I think what they're saying is the level keeps going up forever. There's no level cap, but the levels don't
Hmm.
get you anything. Um, which is interesting because still, I think Itty and I were talking about the other night. My favorite game is still Warhawk, and there was a
Mhm.
progression for that, but you never unlocked anything but skins because you were just
Yeah.
when you went on the battlefield, you were the same as everybody else, and there was no inherent advantage. I think I struggle with games like, say, what the Division will most likely be, and is the PVE you'll be fine, but there's only so many times you can probably play against AI to make it interesting. And then when you go to the PvP, it's all about who has the best gear and who spent the most time and who leveled up the highest. And and
Yeah.
that's not a game that's really fun because it has nothing to do with skill. That person that has more than you doesn't necessarily shoot better than you or do better than you. They just had tons of extra time. And so for a lot of us that have jobs and lives and can only afford to spend an hour or so a day gaming or something, if that much, those kinds of games are really prohibitively uninteresting. I mean, the Destiny had the same way for me. Like there were a lot of other things I didn't like about Destiny, but overall, if you missed a day, your friends were already leveled past you and you couldn't play with them in the way that went. And so it was just very similar, I feel, in the way the Division might go, where it's like I don't know how much damage you can do to characters that are 4 or 5 levels higher than you. So if your friends have leveled up past you, you may be playing solo and playing catch up a lot. And that's,
Mhm.
I don't know if they have good mechanics that fix that. Maybe they do. I think Rambo said something about you can power level people pretty easily, but that may mean that when you get to the level cap, you get to level quick, and then is the end game of that game, is it going to keep your interest? So I don't know. The leveling up systems and everything in a lot of games, I know that's always a touchy subject because there's a lot of ways to go, and there's never necessarily a right way. But I think one of the things I would like to see is that a game doesn't necessarily have to hold your attention to want to play with friends in the clan to do so. I'm kind of harkening back to some of the olden days of the Syndicate and everything, but man, we had people that join in the games we've been playing for 2 years straight because it was great playing with people. And now it
Mhm.
seems like when somebody loses the attention, their attention span in a particular game, it's like they could care less if they were playing with some people or not. It's just, you know, if it's not the next new game, then they're off to do something else. So I'd like to see
Hmm.
less of
Yeah.
that and more of just a good community coming together, but it may just be a pie in the sky kind of hope.
Yeah, the games just aren't as good anymore. I mean, get less. I mean, get more co-op, and not as many. Like, you know, I don't know, games that we can all get behind sometimes.
Yeah. But even the games that are out there, even the ones that come out free, you still can't necessarily get people to want to play with other people and join in. Sometimes it's about fostering
Yeah.
community, and that's where it's like tough to do some of the more extravagant things for the clan when hardly anyone shows up for certain things. I'm still trying to rack my brain to figure out what we can do, and it may just take waiting for that special game, but I wish it wouldn't because you never know if that special game will ever actually show up. This just may be how games are
Right.
for from
Yeah.
now on. You see, like you said, there's a lot more co-op, and the multiplayers of a lot of games are a lot less inviting than they used to be. I still have
Yeah, I mean,
high hopes that the next Battlefield game will have all the fixes that were implemented on Battlefield 4, because Battlefield 4 right now is pretty much one of the best online shooters you could possibly get in. The shooting is crisp, the netcode's great, everything's it runs wonderfully. It's just a 2-year-old game that had so many problems that it's hard hard to get back
It's
in.
definitely a different game than when it came out.
And so you just hope that even though Battlefield 4 was painful, if they can take that and launch Battlefield 5 right, that could be the game. Because I mean, Battlefield 3 for us was a wonderful game.
Was a great game. Yeah.
That we had a lot of fun in. So I keep holding out hope that the next iteration actually has learned from them. But it remains to be seen, and we don't even know when that's coming out. I kind of hope that might be a end of the year launch title, but we'll see.
Yeah, I've got a couple friends that bought PS4s just for Battlefront, and they've been playing it, and they're like, "What other game can I get like it?" And one of them picked up Call of Duty, the newest one, and Black Ops 3, and he's like, "I can't do that. They're jumping on the walls and all that stuff." He just, I was like, "I told you, man, you should have got Battlefield 4 because you could have got the complete edition. You would have had all the maps. You would have had all that. And it's like $29.99 or what is it, $29.99 or $39.99, something like that." And so it's just a better game overall. So I think for that, he wants a more realistic type thing.
Yeah. Someone on Facebook posted that they bought a PS4 just for Street Fighter 5. And I felt so bad after reading that story about like that is not complete game. It was like, oh no, buddy.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry.
Well, that being said, if all they want, if they wanted to just play and they wanted to play online matches, then it's okay.
Yeah, I think he's real big into fighting games. So I mean,
well, it might be okay, and he might be able to wait it out. But like I said, it's just hard to justify $60 and giving people money for half things. I mean, if once everything's together in that game, it's probably worth $60. But man, don't launch a game like that.
And if everybody runs out and buys it, and it's $60, like that, and it's not complete, it just gives everybody else go, hey, look, they did it, we can do it too.
Yeah.
So we just tell them, and it sucks. I really wanted that one, but like you said, I can't.
I mean, this has already been
nothing
happening
in there
with
that I
early
can
access.
do.
Well, hell, along this this line of conversation, I mean, Destiny.
Well, that's
look what happened with that whole game.
Well, that's why to me, if Destiny had launched with everything, including the Taken King, and that would have been the proper full game. But it didn't, and that's why they never got any more of my money. I'm always upset I gave them my money now, and that's why the Division feels like, to me, the way I'm looking at it, it's following the same track. They're already like, hey, buy the season pass, and you get these 3 DLC drops, and this is extra stuff. And we might have raids down the road. We might have that. Like, I'm just gonna sit back and I'm gonna watch. No way I'm buying this straight off the bat, because this feels like a Destiny ploy again. Where it's like, here's what we've got now, but in a year's time, we'll probably have a full game for you to experience. Because again, who knows if you even enjoy the PvP? So you want a PvE experience, and that PvE experience, right, can be a 4-player co-op kind of thing. So you can still have a good experience, but again, if it comes out and it's just a handful of missions, then But if you wait a year and they've done the DLCs and you buy the complete edition for $40 or whatever down the road, and you get all this shit, you're like, okay, that's what I needed. It's just sad because I feel like, there's people that are going to buy things at launch because they want a game. There's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like I'm actually being trained to wait a year for some of these games now. Where I'm like, I can't buy that now because that doesn't feel like that's done. It doesn't feel like they have enough content.
Then you can also look at, like, I feel good that I bought, because I got free socks. I bought the Fallout 4 thing.
Did you say free socks?
I got Fallout 4.
Gotta get them free socks.
That's a quote of the day.
The
free
season
socks.
pass and free socks. So they were little, Fallout Boy socks that you got with it. And now some of these people... Like, the Following or Dying Light has increased their season pass from, like, what was it, 20 to 30 now, or 20, Yeah, and then Fallout saying they're going to go from 30 to 50. So sometimes you don't want to purchase early, and then sometimes,
Yeah, but you got a question. Are
goes
they
the other
actually
way.
giving you that much worth of content, or they're just going, hey, look at all the people that are just going to spend more money, so let me try to get. Because it feels like to me, like if they misjudge and they said, well, we're going to have all this extra content, then to me, what you should do is your season pass should stay the same price, right? For whatever content you were originally going to give, and maybe then offer a second season pass. It's the same, but what did Mortal Kombat do? First season pass, we got the characters they said and all the stuff, and now there's a second pack coming with 4 more characters. You can choose to buy that or not. The fact
Hmm.
that you up the price for people coming in later for the same amount of content, that actually feels a little dicier. It's like all they're doing is
Yeah.
trying to train you to be rewarding them by saying, spend money on the content you have no clue what it's gonna. It's like anyone who bought the Battlefront content. You didn't know what it was gonna be. We still don't know. They've only named what 3 out of 4 of them are gonna be, right? It's like again, we gotta be careful about where you spend your money on these season passes because you get a lot of people that don't think that the value's there at the end. Um, it's just good to wait because when you say how much are you saving, I don't know that you save that much.
Yeah.
Because you
I
can
haven't,
probably buy the things individually, and it's like you may find that it's 1 out of the 3 or even 2 out of the 3 you didn't really want because it applies to a part of the game you didn't care about. So maybe it's not as exciting. I mean, if you're a fanatic on the game, then it doesn't really matter. You're gonna love any of the content that comes. I'm not a
Mhm.
yeah.
fanatic on Star Wars, so I'm not really sold on it. I'd like to see what else comes out. But I could see people the fanatical about Star Wars. They actually, would buy it right off the bat. Same with Fallout. Things like those are okay because you're always gonna have those diehard fans that just want all of the content of that type of thing, like
Mm.
socks.
Hey, man, they're cool socks.
Yeah, I don't know how I
People
Yes.
feel
comment
about
on them all the
I don't
time.
know
So,
how I feel about the repricing of season passes though.
Yeah.
Feels weird.
yeah.
It's an interesting subject because, it used to be you bought the game and, hey, there was a couple little things you could buy. And now you get on the store and there's 15 different clothes for this one game and some coins for this other game. And you got to scroll through all that stuff just to see if there's anything interesting on there. Yeah, so it's interesting what people will
Yeah,
pay
it
money
just
for.
feels I just don't want it. So many games feeling like there's a store involved and you have to figure out how to game the system to get what you want and
On the main
Mhm.
menu, man, it's
yeah,
triangle store.
store. I just wish anything that's going to be multiplayer only or even just have major multiplayer components would let the maps be free. So you could keep the
Yeah.
community together. So maybe there's gadgets or other things or guns that you can't access, or you get those in the passes, right? So, the patches come out and you can still see those guns being used, but you can't use them. So maybe you want them, right? Or maybe you want to look cool. I always think that making your characters look completely asinine and weird are probably one of the best ways to sell things for impulse
Well,
buys.
Mhm.
that's
But
kind of how Rainbow Six Siege works that way.
mm-hmm. I think that's a
All the
great
maps are
model.
free.
The maps should be free. Don't break up the community. Don't do that.
The
And
only thing's different, I think you get different operators that
yeah,
come later on. But there's a whole roster of operators that come with the first thing. And that totally is a game like you guys were talking earlier, by yourself with randoms, because I think it is, some of those are 6 on 6.
mm-hmm.
It's terrible with just randoms. But I got on there with Joe Nobody once, and man, it was a lot of fun, just the two of us, because we were communicating. Okay,
Yeah,
man, I'm gonna watch this door. So it was a fun game. So, but I see myself not going to it because nobody in the clan got it. It's one of those games I pop in every once in a while and try and jump in there and get shot a lot and go, "Arr." So, but, yeah.
All right.
Hopefully someday that one will get free or cheap, and some other people pick it up, and maybe we'll play that one, kind of like Drive Club, every once in a while.
All right. Well, I think that was pretty good. I think we should stop it here. And
Stop.
I think this is a good place to end our 60th podcast. So,
Mm.
And that's
Alright.
not my age, Rambo.
all
Forget it.
right. And on that note, we'll say good night. Say good night, everybody.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night, everybody.
Peace.